Welcome in Thursday night, NFL opening weekend. We've got a game in the books. The Bills just went out and just kicked the Rams' ass. The defending Super Bowl champions have fallen by 3 touchdowns at home. I scheduled this after the game to make sure that everybody would have time to watch. I was actually out at the Bills bar in San Francisco just to check out the scene for the fourth quarter. Maybe time to play a video from there. But we're obviously spinning this forward to the 49ers-Bears game on Sunday. It's been exactly a week since I went live from the studio setting. Of course, got a lot of content for you, both on The Athletic and up here on YouTube ever since then. But it is time to get back into this kind of flow. We got to have a proper roster check-in before the 49ers leave to Chicago tomorrow. Take a look at that depth chart. Talk about the first NFL game of the season. And hey, guess what? The 49ers are a half game ahead of the Rams in the NFC West standing. The Rams are 0-1. 49ers are still undefeated. And we'll see as they put that to the test against the Bears on Sunday. 49ers 7-point favorites against Chicago. So I'm going to talk about the game in more depth as far as keys go in a later video. I want to go through, can the 49ers beat the Bears / will the 49ers beat the Bears? That's going to be a weekly thing. I'm going to look at the matchup and some of the keys to the game. That's going to come out tomorrow or Saturday. We'll still get our flow as this season starts. Today, I wanted to open up for some questions as we discuss the week of practice, the return to the locker room, and of course, the Rams just getting it handed to them by the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I'll tell you what, if Josh Allen is any bit a developmental charting course for Trey Lance, meaning if Trey Lance follows that just like 50%, 60%, 49ers are going to be happy, I think, because Josh Allen is he might win the MVP this year. I think he was second in the voting just a couple years ago. So, I mean, if you got a seismic arm, you have massive 240-pound size, and then you have the command of the short game. And the command of the short game is probably the most important of those three things. People are going to talk about the deep ball. They're going to talk about, the cannon arm and the stiff arm and all that. But none of that happens, or at least it doesn't happen at the level that we saw it happen for the Buffalo Bills on Thursday night against the Rams. If Josh Allen is not moving the chains, converting with some of the subtleties, with some of those shorter passes, went 26 of 31. He made it happen because of his command of the short game. I mean, that's what made Brady so great for so many years. We'll see how he does at age 45 this season. Joe Montana, I mean, you see the big passes to Jerry Rice, but, Bill Walsh tried to set up Yak with the short game. Without the short game, Joe Montana isn't Joe Montana. Steve Young doesn't end up being Steve Young. Speaking of that, tomorrow morning, I've got a big Steve Young, Trey Lance piece coming out tomorrow. We're talking 3,000 words. We're talking some meaty stuff regarding Trey Lance entering week 1 against the Chicago Bears, his first game as QB1, starting the game as QB1 for the 49ers. Trey was QB2 last year. He started 2 games, but as QB2 this year, he's the guy, and we're going to get to see how he does. How about tonight? The Rams gave up 7 sacks against the team that didn't blitz a single time. That's trouble for the Rams. We talk about the 49ers and their offensive line. Well, they'll be put to the test this season, that's for sure. Almost certainly now they're going to be starting Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, and Spencer Burford left to right across the interior. It could get ugly. It might get ugly for the 49ers this year. But boy, the Rams hit a new level of ugly. 7 sacks against the team that didn't blitz a single time. The Bills, I had never seen anything like that, to be honest. Normally, when you get 7 sacks, you have to throw in a couple blitzes and a couple missed protections. The Rams just got beat straight up. And I know, Andrew Whitworth has retired and question marks for the Rams. But we talk about all their glitzy additions. They seem to make them every year. If you can't win at the margins, and the margins can be along the offensive and defensive lines, if you can't win there, you're going to get your ass handed to you. And that's what happened today against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they couldn't win up front. They took all those sacks. Stafford looked like an interception machine today. Richard Sherman's up on Twitter talking about Matt Stafford being overrated right now, if you want to go check that out. But all that not going in the Rams' favor, right? And then Josh Allen just being Superman on the other side with the stiff arm, with the reach across the goal line. I'm telling you, they make them stronger in the San Joaquin Valley. They definitely make them stronger out on the farm in the 559. So that was fun to watch today. Rams against the Bills. 49ers news. George Kittle likely will not play. He was out of practice on Thursday and again missed practice, first Wednesday and then on Thursday. Guys who don't practice on Thursday, especially in week one before there's a whole lot at stake, are very likely not going to play in the game. So Kittle, groin issue. We're going to wait to see what his official status and his official probability for the game is, but I would assume it's going to be doubtful to out once we talk to Kyle Shanahan tomorrow. Now, I came out with a video a little bit earlier today. I think a lot of people don't realize that George Kittle's played in 73 of 87 possible games since the 49ers drafted him in 2017. That's 84% of the 49ers games. And half of the games, that he missed in that cluster of 14, more than half, 8 of the 14 games he missed in 2020 when everybody was hurt. COVID year, no offseason program, guys got hurt. You take that season out, Kittle's played 65 of 71 games for the 49ers. So, maybe he gets banged up because he's playing one of the most violent positions in one of the most violent sports that there is, but he generally plays. We're talking an 84% play rate, 92%, 93% if you don't count that 2020 outlier. So, there's just a lot of crazy knee-jerk reactions. Oh, George Kittle's never available is one of them that I saw online today. And, I quote tweeted and I said, what are you talking about? George Kittle has played in 84% of the 49ers games since 2017. So facts over feelings, right? People are frustrated that George is hurt right now, groin issue. He might not play on Sunday, but don't just take that and run with it and say that he doesn't play, that he's hardly available. 84% is a really good rate at the NFL, especially for a position as physical as that tight end position. So we'll see how that affects the 49ers run game against Chicago. I will say this, the Bears are going to run the ball. They've got a new coaching staff, new offensive coordinator. They've employed fullbacks this year. They actually have 2 fullbacks on their roster. So the 49ers offense with Kyle Shanahan and Kyle Juszczyk and the desire to just run the crap out of the ball against downsizing defenses, 49ers were one of the rarities in the NFL with that over the past few years, but it's worked for them, right? They've been to 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl over the past 3 years. And I don't think it's an accident that the rest of the league offensively is starting to evolve, maybe bring back the fullback, bring back a style of offense that could run the ball heavily, right? Just pound, pound, pound. And the 49ers are going to go up against the taste of their own medicine this weekend in Chicago because the 49ers have been used to dishing out all those runs. Well, now the Bears, a team that, might be striving to do something similarly to the 49ers. They don't have the talent overall that the 49ers do, but they do have Justin Fields at quarterback. And Justin Fields' best game came versus the 49ers last year. More on that in a bit. The Bears, though, they have those fullbacks. They will try to run the ball. And the 49ers' one weakness defensively last year until they patched it up with Eric Armstead moving inside was run defense. So no DJ Jones anymore. Armstead is back. He should be seeing his fair share of snaps inside, but it's the Jawan Kinlaw show for the 49ers at tackle. They have to prove they can stuff the run the same way that they did down the stretch of the 2021 season, because I think the Bears will certainly put that aspect of what the 49ers are trying to do to the test. But anyway, let's talk about Justin Fields. His best game came versus the 49ers last year, hands down. He had that amazing run. Somebody asked D'Amico Ryans, what's the coaching point after a run like that? And he said, you just go and watch SportsCenter Top 10. Appreciate the play. It was an amazing touchdown run from Justin Fields. Kept the Bears in the game there in the fourth quarter. 49ers obviously don't want to see him do that again. But I think that the key to this game is that Chicago is starting a rookie 5th-round pick at left tackle. And they're starting 2 second-year players at right guard, Tevin Jenkins, and then at right tackle. And between those 3 spots, but by the way, the 2 guys at the on the right side for the Bears didn't have good years in pass protection last year. So between those 2 guys and the rookie left tackle, Nick Bosa's licking his chops. I mean, this happened today. The Rams gave up 7 sacks against the team that didn't blitz a single time. 49ers obviously licking their chops to see if the Rams still have communication issues when the 49ers play them. come week 4. But as far as the Bears go, there might be some issues in protection there that the 49ers are going to want to capitalize on. And I think that the 49ers offensive line or defensive line is a whole lot better than what the Bears are offering as far as their offensive line up front. And I think that is the key to this game. All right, I think it's time to do a roster / depth chart check-in. So let's open this up. Let's go position by position through what the 49ers look like right now. Here you go. Boom. Stretch this sucker out horizontally. Let's see what's going on with the 49ers roster-wise. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be quarterback number 2 for the 49ers on Sunday. That is confirmed. You know, there was some speculation that since he hadn't practiced with the team yet over the course of this training camp, I mean, he just started, right, about a week ago, that he wouldn't be ready for the QB2 role, but he definitely is. Kyle Shanahan has said as much. So Lance and Garoppolo. Elijah Mitchell, I'm going to play some video from practice in a little bit. He was out there working with Anthony Lynn today. He is your unquestioned lead back for the 49ers. Receivers looking healthy as well. We'll see if they flex Malik Turner. New rules this year, you could flex practice squad players up 3 times, not just 2, before you have to move them to the 53-man roster. So that gave the 49ers a little bit more flexibility with players like Malik Turner, who they cut from the initial 53 and put on the practice squad, and like Kamoko Trey. So 2 steals for the practice squad. We might see them flex up. Connor Weddington, by the way, I got to talk to him today, Stanford product. Stanford and USC get to play this weekend, 4:30 Pacific on Saturday. So you have 2 Stanford guys on the 49ers, Weddington, and in the linebacker position, Curtis Robinson. And then you have a couple of USC guys on the 49ers as well. Talanoa Hufanga and Drake Jackson, the defensive end, rookie second-round pick for the 49ers. So there's some smack being talked in the locker room today. Hufanga and the linebacker Curtis Robinson from Stanford going at it a bit today. And then a nice like intellectual back and forth football discussion. They're arguing about who's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner this year. Moving on, receivers, by the way, I just said they're mostly, all healthy here. Maybe we see Turner in this game as well. You're probably not going to see George Kittle. That's why I have him listed in pink here. Croft, I believe, is going to start for the 49ers. Obviously Charlie Werner, but if you have 2 starting tight ends, I think it's going to be Croft and Werner if Kittle's not in. Line is essentially set with Daniel Brunskill not practicing, so you're not going to see Brunskill in all likelihood swoop in at the last minute. You're going to have Trent, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, and Mike McGlinchey left to right. I would say that the interior is the law firm, right? Banks, Brendel, and Burford, the law firm. Why don't we make a text title for that? Banks, Brendel. Yeah, I think Banks, Brendel, and Burford is the best way to say it. The law firm, right there. Isn't that? It's alliteration, BBB. So those guys, I mean, it's the lawyers that you hope that you'll never need for the 49ers. Those commercials on KMBR. The 49ers definitely need these 3 guys, but they definitely don't want to be noticing them all too much because that's pass protection in front of Trey Lance. 49ers D-line, healthy entering week 1. Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, Ebucom, all these guys, Amenahu, Givens, Ridgeway. Ridgeway's lockers by Jimmy Garoppolo's, by the way. Right next to it. They're on that island over on the far side of the locker room. Drake Jackson, Kerry Hyder, Jordan Willis. Kerry Hyder is locker neighbors with Trent Williams. And Trent Williams today has buried a 3-pointer, 1 try. What an athlete that guy is. 1 try, buried a 3-pointer on the hoop in the 49ers locker room. It was kind of a walk-off shot. Put the arm up in the air, walked out. It was all good. So healthy D-line for the 49ers, 100% locked and loaded, ready to go. Not good news for the Bears. Linebacking core, Oren Burks, it's going to be close. Back out at practice today for Oren Burks. It was Brunskill and George Kittle who were out today. So I'm going to take Burks off of this officially tomorrow, off of the pink highlight once Kyle Shanahan confirms that he will be able to be back. But Burks, I mean, he was sitting there with Curtis Robinson chatting it up. I got to meet Oren Burks in person for the first time today in the locker room. It just seems like a good vibe, by the way. Why don't I zoom out here while we talk? The locker room is really energetic. They've got a putting green in there now. They have the basketball court. They supposedly a lot of guys play chess, but there was a lot of laughing and joking. Even star players like Deebo Samuel are involved in the laughing and joking. And I told somebody this in the locker room today. If this football team starts winning a lot of games, it's going to be a really fun locker room to be in and to cover over the course of this 2022 season. All right, let's keep on going. Let's go to the secondary. Charvarius Ward, he was playing some basketball today. Emmanuel Mosley. Talked to Samuel Womack. Samuel grew up in Detroit, so Chicago not too far away. He's going to have 10 to 15 family members at the game. And he was just so excited. It's Samuel Womack III. I should make the edit here. His dad, Samuel Womack II, is going to be there. And Sam telling me that his dad was the guy that just, his football success, a lot of it is owed to Samuel Womack II. Now, you got to keep in mind, Samuel Womack, who's won the 49ers starting nickelback job, he was a walk-on going from Detroit, where he played against Ambry Thomas in high school. Their high school rivals there in the Motor City. Ambry Thomas is a walk-on at Toledo, and he earned a scholarship. That's a hell of a story. Did I say Ambry Thomas? Samuel Womack was a walk-on at Toledo, and he earned a scholarship. And his coach and Sam himself, they all credit the way that he was raised, really that blue-collar, no-nonsense way, hard work way that he was raised. And how fitting that Samuel Womack gets to start his NFL career very near home, where his family is going to be able to drive over from Detroit to Chicago to watch him at Soldier Field. Rest of this roster, I mentioned Talanoa Hufanga at safety position is going to have to find a way to make up for the loss of Jimmy Ward, who's over here on injured reserve. So we'll see if it's Odom starting next to Hufanga. I would assume so. Nothing guaranteed. Obviously, Tarvarius Moore is going to be an option as well. So that's the 49ers roster rundown here during 49ers-Bears week. Why don't we take a look at some footage, huh? Why don't we go to, here first, that we had this 49ers positioning in the division. They're now ahead of the Rams, and this was the Bills bar in San Francisco, North Beach, North Star. Let me find it. No, I didn't put here. We could actually, I need to go on Twitter for this. Hold on. This is it. Let's check this out. Make it big screen. This is after one of the fourth quarter touchdowns for the Bills. They've got that "Let's go Buffalo" chant going there. So who would have thought in San Francisco, about as far away as you can get in the country away from Buffalo, you've got just a packed bar full of Bills fans. And you saw at the window there, I pointed the camera at North Star outside. There were even more fans outside, TVs everywhere. So it was nice and cozy, packed inside. And it was crowded outside as well. Then afterwards, I did that live walking around North Beach. I walked outside of North Star, and there's Bills fans taking off their shirts and stuff. So good vibe. Most every team has a bar in San Francisco. So maybe I can give you guys tours of those bars on Thursday nights and Monday nights and Sundays when the 49ers aren't playing this year. But I think that's one of the really cool things about the city is that you see people, there's so many transplants, you'll see them kind of congregate in their bar of choice where their team has decided to post up its fan club, and it lends itself to some good scenes. I will have to say the city and kind of that street vibe seems to be back after a tough couple of years. Walking around North Beach was really, really nice today. Right after that game, everything was buzzing. Took me a while to get my burger at Sam's. Obviously, subscribe to The Athletic. I'm going to pop open this right here. Here's my page at The Athletic. I know I haven't done one of these lives in a few days. Been out of town over Labor Day weekend, and then the 49ers got going today or yesterday, and now it's, really into full season mode. But we have a couple pieces that we've written this week. 49ers over-unders, Trey Lance's completion rate, Nick Bosa's sack total, and more. Go ahead and check this out. This is kind of a staff-wide thing, our former Bay Area staff on The Athletic. That link is in the chat section. And then I wrote alongside Matt Barrows a little bit earlier this week a look at the 49ers interior offensive line depth. And that's an article I'm making bigger on the screen right there. There you go. That's Blake Hance. Him in a Cleveland jersey. So check this out. That's the new offensive lineman of the 49ers picked up off of waivers. They had a waived Trey Sermon to make room on their roster. So Sermon now with the Eagles, no longer with the 49ers, but Blake Hance, it's going to be an important depth piece for the 49ers. Nick Zakelj is going to be an important depth piece for the 49ers along that offensive line. And then, of course, you have Jason Poe, who I talked to today. And, he was in really good spirits. Poe's on the practice squad, but we've got to treat that practice squad as an extension of the 53-man roster because it really is. And Poe's just going to keep on grinding. Poe's really happy to still be in the building. For a while, it looked like he might crack that 53-man roster. Practice squad it is instead. He told me today that the cadence was what took the most getting used to, but now he's going to have a chance to really see and experience true NFL Sunday in an NFL stadium. For small school guy, went to Lenore Ryan and Mercer. How awesome is that going to be? Now, Poe did play at Alabama last year. One of the reasons why the 49ers were so gung-ho on Jason Poe is because he didn't look overmatched against Alabama, even though he's playing for Mercer. He's one of the few players that wasn't overmatched. But, I mean, the NFL, this is something new, right? Especially Alabama playing Mercer, not going to be as intense of an atmosphere as your typical SEC game. It's going to be loud. 49ers-Bears on Sunday is going to be some fun stuff in the Windy City. So, yes, practice squad guys do have lockers, Brandon Vinton asked. They're part of the football team. And they do attend the games. The practice squad guys are there. At practice, when you're out on the field, you can't tell any delineation. In fact, that's probably a good cue for me to play some of this practice video. So why don't we watch, here's some good video. Why don't we watch Garoppolo, Purdy, all these guys, and obviously Trey Lance working at 49ers practice. I'll make this big. You guys can watch this on the side screen. Actually, maybe I should here. There you go. Now we can make this take up the very full screen. I may scrub through this video, fast forward a bit. I just want you to see the quarterbacks first, but I could point out guys, I'm sure, as we go through this video that are actually on the practice squad. And there's no difference between practice squad and 53-man roster when you're on the practice field. They're all intermingled, and it essentially functions as a 70-man roster when you consider 53 on the primary roster, 16 on the practice squad, plus Alfredo Gutierrez, who's number 70 as that international exception. So the difference is pay. That's the main difference. These practice squad guys making about $200,000 to $300,000 a year. Minimum salary is over $800,000 a year for players on the 53-man roster. So it's mainly a money thing. There's Jimmy throwing the short ones. The 49ers were working on this a lot over the course of today's practice. Here we could fast forward. You could see Trey Lance coming in. Still a crazy visual dynamic, right? You see Jimmy Garoppolo out there with Trey Lance, and then obviously the rookie Brock Purdy. Everybody through the portion of practice we got to see today looked decently sharp. Here you're going to have another look at Jimmy Garoppolo taking a snap, working on some of the play fakes. It was a lot of short passes. Again, the 49ers, you saw the importance of the short game with Josh Allen today. I mean, just dominated in the short game for the Buffalo Bills. And background, by the way, see Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk chatting up with John Lynch over there. I think Kyle Shanahan was around, but he left. But anyway, the short game is so important. It is the bread and butter. And the 49ers, as they get closer to regular season mode, you could tell they're drilling the short game. That was Trey Lance, play fake, quick pass to Kyle Juszczyk, who's in on the receiving drills for the 49ers. Garoppolo going to do some of the same stuff. Here he goes a little bit more intermediate. They eventually did stretch it out. But today you could just really tell that the 49ers were hammering home the accuracy and the timing near the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be so important during the regular season. All right, there's so much QB stuff in this video. I mean, if you want to see Lance, if you want to see Garoppolo throwing the Kyle Juszczyk, that's what I'm doing for you right now. Just quick videos. Let's see Trey throw one here. I know I've been skipping over him just by accident, so we'll keep it on Trey. Play fake, looks downfield, throws far side, doesn't go to Juszczyk. Now here's Lance on the move. Nice one. You got some good footage today. The cameraman here holds a steady shot. Somebody should hire him. He does have an iPhone. He uses that iPhone 13. That one off of Juszczyk's hands. It was a hot day, by the way, 100 degrees at practice as you're watching this. Probably harder to tell through the screen, but it was a warm one. Might be the hottest practice of the year for the 49ers. We didn't see here. Here you could tell Garoppolo, Lance, all those guys wiping away some sweat. It's not supposed to be nearly as hot tomorrow. 49ers much more abbreviated practice before they fly out to Chicago. And then it's unlikely, I think, that it hits 100 degrees again this season. All right, there's Elijah Mitchell at right and Anthony Lynn at left for 49ers new running backs coach, filling in for Bobby Turner, at least for this season. And Mitchell, this is during a special teams period. Elijah Mitchell, being the starting running back for the 49ers, doesn't have to partake in those special teams periods. They save him for running back duty. So during the time that special teams is working, the star players, and now Mitchell is one of them, they can do whatever they need to do to hone their craft, perfect their skill. And Elijah Mitchell is conversing with Anthony Lynn during his extra time during that second period. Now, this is a cool attitude thing. Watch, Anthony Lynn's going to have to tie his shoe here in a little bit. They're just walking down the field, getting ready for the next period. Lynn is going to bend down when he notices that his shoe unties right here. Boom. There he goes to tie the shoe. Elijah Mitchell's going to wait for him. Just a cool little sign of respect. This is running back number one, not letting his position coach go. Mitchell's from Erath, Louisiana, farm town, blue-collar kind of guy. And, I think some of that respect, some of those small things, that stuff shows respect for his running backs coach, Anthony Lynn. You get some more throws for the 49ers late in practice. So, by the way, I'll rewind a little bit. Right, this guy right here, Tay Martin, he's on the practice squad. Tay Martin is a practice squad guy. So, one of the questions was, does the practice squad do stuff separately? As you can see, this practice squad guy, Tay Martin, just got a pass from Trey Lance. Pretty cool stuff. So that's how intermingled the practice squad is with the 49ers roster. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. There was also some good times in the locker room with the 49ers right here. We got some locker room access videos. Oops. I'm just going to turn off the sound. You guys can watch this. You guys can watch this later. The sound quality while I'm talking, I'd rather you guys hear me, but, that's Drake Jackson, and we do our locker room interview footage on this channel in cinematic mode, as you can tell. So cinematic mode it is. You got to have that background blurred out. Spencer Burford, 49ers rookie right guard, likely will be starting in this game. He's ready to go. And here you have Kyle Juszczyk showing off the biceps. Kyle smiling. He's great with the media. Juszczyk still at that same locker. 27 to his left, that's Dante Johnson's locker. And then 2 lockers over, number 11, that is Brandon Ayuk's over there on the left. So that's your look into 49ers land today. Hope you all enjoy. How's everybody doing? I had a great burger from Sam's. It was awesome. It's where I took one of those little live shows the other day. Again, North Star Cafe, North Beach. That was the Bills bar. I played the video there for you. Josh Allen. Boy, that's got to be the developmental goal for Trey Lance. Remember, Josh Allen, as a rookie, completed only 52% of his passes. Trey Lance is not going to have a prolific completion percentage this year, in my opinion, based on what we've seen from camp. A little too up and down. Maybe it will be all up and no down once the regular season starts. Who knows? But it took Allen a couple years to hit 70%. The Bills were a building team then. The 49ers have a ready-made roster, so obviously the situations are a little bit different. But if the 49ers can eventually get Trey Lance to kind of the spot where Josh Allen is as far as executing the short game, and then being able to really show off the cannon and his physicality, both running and throwing the football, 49ers are going to be over the moon with their investment in Trey Lance. Michael McCoy. Special teams is a real problem last year. Now I want to see how it is with Ray Ryan, a new coach. Yeah, the new coach is Brian Schneider, who was talking to Lynch and Shanahan today early in practice. Guess who the Bears special teams coordinator is? Richard Hightower, who the 49ers didn't retain, who they let go after last season's special teams disaster. So 49ers invested a ton into special teams this offseason, coaching-wise, personnel-wise, Ray McLeod, Oren Burks, all those guys. And it just so happens their first test special teams-wise to see if they did improve is against Richard Hightower, the coordinator who they didn't retain last year. So I think that's going to be really interesting. Tommy Huxley says the 49ers special teams is going to be the number 5 unit in the league. And if that's the case, 49ers are on a good path. Because if your defense is top 5, your special teams is top 5, that's creating runway for the offense. I think that's what the 49ers may need to do this year. How long until the 49ers flex up another safety until Jimmy Ward returns? You only could flex up guys if you're talking about a game day flex for once per week. You could do it 3 times from the practice squad. So maybe you move to Sean Gibson up, because Jimmy Ward's not going to be available this week. Maybe you see how it goes this week with the practice squad flex up. And if it doesn't go well, you sign Jaquiski Tartt, who's been in casual conversations with the 49ers. Because any veteran that you sign after week 1, you don't guarantee a salary for the whole year. So bringing in Tartt now would mean the 49ers would have to guarantee a salary for the whole year. So it almost makes more sense to do a wait and see for week 1. And then if it, makes sense, you bring him in after week 1. So you have a little bit more financial leverage as the team signing the player. All right. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer a few. McGlinchey has looked good. And Chris Furster, 49ers offensive line coach and run game coordinator, talked today. And he said McGlinchey's looked as good as he has since he's coached him. And that's been since 2019. So McGlinchey is looking good. I think he's ready to start at right tackle. And we'll see how he bounces back from that injury. It's going to be live action now in the regular season. Definitely different than training camp and the preseason. The 49ers have not issued practice squad protections yet. So we will see. I'm not even really sure how that's going to work this year because they did change some of the flex rules from 2 to 3. So I'll get back to you on that. Do the 49ers need Kittle to beat the Gummy Bears? Well, if they do need Kittle to beat the Bears, the 49ers probably aren't true Super Bowl contenders. They're a whole lot better with Kittle, but you need some level of depth, right? And I think the 49ers have depth. Tight end seems to be actually an exceptionally deep position after how it rounded out during training camp. So I think the 49ers can get it done there. Well, guys, I've been going for about 30 minutes. We got another big day tomorrow. We're going to get really Bears specific tomorrow. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about matchups. I'm going to talk about Steve Young and Trey Lance. Be ready for that piece. I think the weather probably does favor the 49ers. They're just a more established running team than the Bears. I think they're way better on the defensive line than the Bears are on the O-line. So rainy weather probably favors the 49ers, but we will see. There is rain in the forecast for Sunday in Chicago. And yes, same here. No, not many answers from me. I'm just ready for the game as well. So anyway, welcome to our 49ers 2022 coverage. Subscribe to The Athletic. Subscribe to this channel. And I'm on Twitter right here. It's 49ers-Bears week. Hope you enjoyed this late Thursday night show. We're going to get after it here next few days. We really are. And the next few weeks, the next 17 weeks, 18 weeks, counting the bye, we will get after it. So sub to the channel, sub to The Athletic, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for joining, and have a great night.